When Ada said she wanted to marry Kingsley, the whole street went quiet. People looked at each other as if she had lost her senses. Kingsley was known as a kind man, but kindness did not pay rent or buy food. Ada was not desperate. Her late father had left her a small bungalow, a piece of farmland outside town, and some money in the bank. Many men wanted her, but she chose Kingsley. Kingsley lived with his mother in a small house with cracked walls and a leaking roof. He promised Ada that poverty would not be their forever story. On the wedding day, Ada smiled brightly. Mama Kingsley smiled too, but her smile did not reach her eyes. As drums played and people danced, Mama Kingsley whispered to herself, "This girl has brought fortune to our door." After the wedding, Ada moved into Kingsley's family house in a busy Nigerian town. Children ran outside, women sold food by the roadside, and generators hummed every night. Ada quickly became loved by the neighbors. She greeted everyone politely and helped when she could. She even paid to repair part of the house roof. Kingsley noticed life becoming easier. Food never finished. Bills were paid without struggle. Slowly, he stopped waking early to look for work. Mama Kingsley watched everything closely. She noticed how Ada trusted her son without fear or doubt. One night, Mama Kingsley spoke quietly. "My son, this woman is too comfortable with her wealth." Mama Kingsley reminded Kingsley of how hard life had been before Ada arrived. She spoke of shame, hunger, and borrowed money. She told him about Ada's land and savings. "All these things," she said softly, "are already in your house." Kingsley became uneasy. He told his mother to stop talking like that, but he did not walk away. At night, he watched Ada sleeping peacefully beside him. She trusted him with her life. That trust slowly turned into temptation, and temptation began to change his heart. Ada believed marriage meant sacrifice. She never complained about living with Kingsley's mother. She planned to sell part of her land to start a small business for Kingsley. She wanted him to feel proud as a man. When she told Mama Kingsley about the plan, the older woman praised her loudly. Neighbors heard and admired Ada even more. Inside, Mama Kingsley's heart beat fast. She feared Ada was getting too involved. That night, while Ada prayed for her family, evil plans were already forming nearby. One evening, Kingsley suggested they visit his uncle in the village. He spoke gently and acted loving. Ada agreed without hesitation. She trusted her husband completely. They traveled early in the morning. The road was long and quiet, surrounded by trees and thick bushes. Rain began to fall, and the car suddenly stopped in a lonely place. People later said they heard shouting, then silence, and then nothing at all. By the next day, the town was filled with shocking news. Kingsley's wife was said to be dead. Mama Kingsley cried loudly and blamed bad roads and destiny. Kingsley looked broken and confused. Ada's body was never found, but people believed the story. After all, accidents happened often. Not long after, Kingsley began handling Ada's properties as her husband. But far away from the town, in a quiet hidden place, Ada was still breathing. Ada opened her eyes with great difficulty. Her whole body felt weak, and her head was heavy. She could hear strange sounds around her. She was lying inside a small hut near a village stream. An old woman sat beside her, fanning her gently. The woman explained that she found Ada unconscious after heavy rain. Ada had wounds, but she was alive. Slowly, Ada remembered the journey, the rain, and Kingsley stepping out of the car. Fear filled her heart. She realized one painful truth that made her cry quietly. Her own husband wanted her dead. The old woman's name was Mama Zainab. She lived alone and survived by selling herbs and food items in the village. Mama Zainab warned Ada not to return home yet. "People believe you are dead," she said seriously. Ada stayed hidden while she recovered. Her body healed slowly, but her heart hurt deeply. Every night, she thought of Kingsley and his mother. She wondered how love turned into betrayal. One thing became clear in her mind. She would not cry forever. She would live and fight wisely. Mama Zainab helped Ada change her appearance. She cut her hair and dressed simply like a village trader. Ada took a new name, Aisha, to protect herself. No one suspected her true identity. She learned how to sell food items and speak less, observing people carefully. News from town reached the village slowly. Ada heard that Kingsley was enjoying her properties. Her pain turned into strength. She promised herself that truth would one day speak loudly. In town, Kingsley's life changed fast. He sold Ada's land and began spending carelessly. Mama Kingsley enjoyed respect and comfort for the first time in her life. She boasted openly. People praised Kingsley for moving on quickly. Some admired his sudden success. Only a few neighbors felt something was not right, but no one had proof. Greed made Kingsley careless, and careless people always leave traces behind. After many months, Ada felt strong again. She decided it was time to return, but not as herself. She contacted a lawyer in another town using her new identity. She told her full story. The lawyer listened carefully and promised to help quietly. Together, they planned how to expose Kingsley without danger. Ada knew patience was her greatest weapon now, not anger. Kingsley was invited to a land verification meeting by government officials. He felt confident and relaxed. At the meeting, questions were asked about documents and signatures. Some papers did not match. Kingsley laughed nervously. Mama Kingsley sensed trouble and warned her son to be careful. Far away, Ada watched the news quietly. The truth had started knocking. Kingsley began to notice changes around him. People who once greeted him warmly now asked careful questions. Some neighbors whispered about how fast his wife's properties were sold. Others wondered why no burial ever happened. Kingsley laughed it off in public, but fear followed him home every night. Mama Kingsley warned him to avoid too much talking. Silence is safety, she said. But silence could not erase the past, and the past was waking up slowly. Ada's lawyer worked quietly, checking land records and bank documents. He discovered that some papers Kingsley used were signed after Ada's supposed death. This information was powerful. It showed lies clearly, without noise or drama. The lawyer advised Ada to stay hidden a little longer. Ada agreed, knowing that truth works best when it arrives fully prepared. Mama Kingsley began having bad dreams. She saw Ada standing silently, watching her. She became restless and angry, shouting at Kingsley for small mistakes. Kingsley started drinking more and sleeping less. Guilt refused to leave him alone. Their once happy house became filled with tension and fear. Evil had brought comfort, but it also brought unrest. Ada returned to the town quietly as Aisha. She rented a small room far from her old home. She watched Kingsley from a distance and saw how greed had changed him. She attended community meetings without being noticed. Each day, she felt stronger and more confident. The woman they thought was dead was now closer than ever. At a town meeting, a dispute over land ownership broke out. Kingsley's name was mentioned openly. People demanded explanations. He tried to defend himself, but his words were weak and confusing. Mama Kingsley shouted, drawing more attention to them. Suspicion became louder than silence. The lawyer filed a formal case with strong evidence attached. Government officials reopened Ada's records officially. Kingsley received a court summons that shook him deeply. Mama Kingsley knew there was no escape anymore. Meanwhile, Ada prepared herself to finally face the world again. The courtroom was quiet as people waited for the case to begin. Kingsley sat beside his mother, pretending to be calm. The judge asked if both parties were present. Kingsley nodded confidently. Suddenly, a woman stepped forward. The room gasped. Ada stood there, alive and steady. Mama Kingsley screamed, and Kingsley's face turned pale. Ada spoke slowly and clearly. She told the court about the journey, the rain, and the betrayal. She explained how she survived and lived in hiding. The old woman who saved her was called to testify. The courtroom listened in shock and silence. Every lie Kingsley told began to fall apart. The lawyer presented documents and bank records. Signatures proved Kingsley sold property illegally. Witnesses confirmed his strange behavior after Ada's death. Mama Kingsley tried to interrupt but was warned to remain silent. Truth stood firm while lies collapsed completely. Under pressure, Mama Kingsley broke down. She admitted suggesting the plan to take Ada's property. Her words shocked the courtroom. Kingsley tried to deny it, but it was too late. Greed had finally exposed them both. The judge ruled clearly and firmly. All stolen property was returned to Ada. Kingsley and his mother were found guilty of conspiracy. They were punished according to the law. The court reminded everyone that evil never hides forever. Ada stood outside the courtroom, breathing freely. She thanked those who helped her survive and speak. She chose peace over bitterness and started a new life. People admired her strength and wisdom. The woman they thought was dead became a symbol of truth and justice.